Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another amazingly awkward and fun and exciting episode of CLX Foundry Live. I'm your host, TG Blue PDX. Joining me live right now from our super awesome studio there in Wichita, Kansas. It is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Gentlemen,
hi.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
How was your weekend?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to have a fantastic time once they get it, and that is going to be Hayden in Ohio, because Hayden's ordered a big system, and this is one of the huge ones with the NV7. So, yeah. What are we going to be putting in this big bad boy throughout the show?
There's a lot of parts going inside this thing. So starting out with our processor, we've got the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K. To cool that, we've got our CLX Quench 360 AIO in white with the RGB. For our motherboard, we've got ASRock Z890 Steel Legend Wi-Fi, really nice looking motherboard. And for our memory, we've got 2 sticks of Team Group 16GB DDR5 5600 speed in black with the RGB heat spreaders, so a total of 32 gigs of RAM in the system. For our storage drives, we have 2 of them. Our main drive is going to be a 2TB Samsung 990 Pro NVMe drive, and then we have a secondary 8TB Barracuda from Seagate. This is just a secondary hard disk drive, so 10 terabytes of storage in this build. Whole lot.
Dang!
We've got 12 of our GameDS Aeolus M2 fans in white. These a ton of RGB. It's going to light up this case really nicely. And our power supply, we've got a Thermaltake 1050 watt. And last but not least, our video card, we've got an RTX 5070 Ti from Gigabyte. This is the Eagle White version, so almost an all white build. This thing's going to look really nice when we get it on.
Nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. As usual, everybody welcoming in the event, which I know what's going to happen, that you have questions or you maybe hear a term that you're not familiar with. Please feel free to ask away. I will get that message to the guys, and we'll get that answered for you as quickly as possible within reason. Okay. So the one thing about the NV7 is it is a little bit trickier to take apart. Zach?
We've got lots of panels, so we just want to make sure that we get them all off. Everywhere.
So if you've never worked with a case like this, how would you go about figuring out how to take it apart?
I always crack open the sweet user manual whenever I'm playing around with a new case. It shows a lot of fun stuff that you can do.
Yep. Makes it a lot easier to rotate, and you'll see, we'll talk about this in a little bit, that what you're looking at right there is the rear of the PC, and you'll see where that gap is. That's going to be where the IO shield is going to be. But then there's all these, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it, there's all these little flanges that are right next to that, and those are for cable management. Looking at that as well. Okay. So, with that being said, how's your weather?
It's feeling pretty good. Starting to get a little warm. We had like 70s, 80s. Mm-hmm. That's been nice.
We got up to 80 for 3 days, and now it is, we're 45, 55 with rain.
There we go.
But it's Oregon. I'm not super shocked.
Yeah, that doesn't.
NV7 the best too. AZ 2024, welcome in. We've got Need of Temperance. Hello, my darling. Also, we've got Find Nicole here because this is where Nicole was found. Yeah, the MV7 is incredible when it comes to its design structure. Not only the angled fan base, which really helps keep it cool, but also that cable management on the back with that back door is genius. Absolutely genius. All right. Now, this is, I think, the first time we've done this model, this version of this board on the show.
I think so, yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it is. So this is the ASRock Z890 Steel Legend Wi-Fi. So what class of processors are able to be used in a Z890?
This is the 1851 socket on this board, so we've got the new Ultra 9. The new Ultra line, so all of those. 1851 is the socket.
Got it. Cool. Nice. As we're getting all the little plastic pieces off. So Okay, you mentioned, trying to figure out how to phrase this appropriately. Can you fit anything else in it aside from the ultras?
They have to be the socket 1851 for it to go in. They're not like compatible with anything else. So that's the most recent one. The next generation of processor, if they stick to the same socket, then you'll be able to use those as well. But right now, it's just these ones that will fit in it.
Got it. Look at that backplate. It's great. I'm loving the white with the black accents. That's going to be great, especially with the color, because that's going to really bounce off and brighten that up. Let's take a look at how what we can connect to this thing, because obviously connectivity is a hugely important element. At the very top, we've got our flash BIOS button. Reset it. You've also got your two antennas, which is fantastic. Down below there, you've got your HDMI, which is fine. And then there are our two Type-C Thunderbolt 4s. Okay, that is 40 gigs for USB protocol and for Thunderbolt protocol. 40 gigs up and down. And then we've got two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A's. And those are the little blue ones. And then we've got four USB 2s. Those are the black ones. And then the two that we have, the other ones are, those are US, what is, it's
this
not
is
listed.
Ultra USB power and Lightning Gaming.
Got it. I'm literally looking at the readout, and there's nothing about it on there. But that's awesome. So, what do you know about that kind of port? It's brand new.
I'm not sure
USB.
on the ultra low or the ultra power.
Got it. Cool. And then, of course, your 2.5 gig Ethernet jack. So you got all that, plus your audio and your SPDIF, your IR. Sorry for not knowing what that was. Oh, that's what it meant. Okay. All right. Now, for the motherboard to be able to functionally manage everything going in this computer, it's going to need a brain. And so for the brain, Hayden has chosen the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K. It does not cost $285K, but that's part of the nomenclature. So, Paul, can you tell me some cool things about the new Ultra Series CPUs?
So this is a 24-core, 24-thread processor. You've got 8 performance cores and 16 efficiency cores. It's got a base speed of 3.7 and will boost all the way up to 5.7. So this is the top of the line of the new Intel right here.
Nice.
It's going to be able to do everything.
Cool. Arizona 2024 mentions you have an Intel Core i9 14900KF. I have the previous gen. I have the 13900KF. Great processor. I love mine. It stays real cool. Speaking of how it stays cool, there are a couple different ways to cool your systems, and we're going to use one that is becoming more predominant in the industry, and this is called an AIO. So, Zach, explain what that little putty button is.
So this is our thermal paste, and our thermal paste transfers the heat that our chipset produces and moves that heat over into our pump unit on our AIO.
Gotcha. And so this is the CLX Quench 360 AIO in white, and it is RGB. So that little label, that little CLX sign right there, is going to be able to work with however you decide your color display needs to be set. Now it's got a radiator and 2 hoses. So Paul, can you walk us through what an AIO is, how it works, and what the other ways to cool a system are?
Sure. So an AIO stands for all-in-one. That's referring to this liquid cooler that Zach's installing right here. This is the radiator, obviously, just like the radiator in your car. This has coolant inside of it. When you buy these, they come with the coolant in there, so you don't need to add it or take off the tubes or do anything. You just grab the right set of hardware that matches your motherboard socket and plug everything in like Zach's doing, and you're good to go. These don't require any maintenance. You don't have to ever add any or drain it. So the AIOs are a great way to cool your processor if you just don't want to mess with it. You just install it and leave it how it is.
So what are the other options? Like if you want to there are 2 other options.
So if you want to go above an AIO with liquid cooling, you can go with an open loop system, and we do offer those. That's where we custom bend the tubes. You'll be able to pick the color of fluid that you have, fittings. They just look really awesome, but they are a lot of labor. But the finished product is really nice. And then if you don't want to go with liquid cooling at all, you can also pick an air cooler, and those will work just fine. There's a lot of good aftermarket options for those as well. But if you're going with a higher end CPU, I definitely recommend going with an AIO.
Yeah. I have one and it works tremendously. Now, as we've seen, Zach has got the power for the pump and the LED wrapped around the base. So when you wrap it around the base, what's some key things to be concerned about and to watch out for?
Yes, what we don't want to do is we don't want to pull on this cable super tight because, like I mentioned, on our processor producing heat, if we pull our cable a little too tight and it is resting on our processor, we could possibly damage our cable.
That's the problem. All right. Get that attached. Get those plugged in. And now we've got some more things to put on this motherboard because... So up next is the RAM. And I love these. They look like batarangs. But for this system, they've chosen two 16 gig sticks of Team Group DDR5 5600 in black, also RGB. Can one of you tell me what does RAM do? I mean, we've got your CPU and you got your hard drives, but what does the RAM do?
So RAM is where the processes before they're processed are temporarily stored. So random access memory is what it all stands for, and so the more you have, the more processors can be stored, and it's extremely fast. It's faster than like if it was looking at your hard drive and doing that. So that's what it is.
So when you're installing it, you start with slots 2 and slots 4, and then you can add more by going to 1 and 3. Should you always do it in pairs?
It's recommended to do it in pairs, but if you just had one stick, you could do that as well. If you had one stick, typically you're going to use that slot 1 that we're not using right now on the far left, but always look at your motherboard manual to tell you how to install your memory if you're not filling up all the slots.
Thank you for that. Now, what Zach is holding in his hand is a Samsung 990 Pro. That is a 2 terabyte NVMe N.2. And as you saw, when he pulled the heat shielding off, he removed 2 stickers. It is very important to remove those because otherwise it will cause some significant damage. When you plug it in, Zach, how do you make sure it's in and ready to go?
Yes, so just like our memory modulars and our processor, they can only be installed one way, so we just want to make sure that we install it. If you have to force something while building your computer, don't force it. Most parts are clip in place. Some stuff is a little bit harder to push down on, but if you're like forcing it, it's probably needs to be checked first.
Murphy's Law one of the laws is really, really great. And it is, if it jams, force it. If it breaks, it needs replacing anyways. That is not the case when building a PC.
I don't like that law.
Don't. Yeah, please. Law. It's what happens constantly because I don't pay attention to stuff. It's not fitting. Push harder. Nope. Never results in anything good. Okay, now we've got our fans on here. These, of course, are Game Dias Aeolus M2s. They're 120 white and RGB. So what does it mean when I say it's a 120 fan?
So that's referring to the size of the fan here. So these are 120 mil fans, which is pretty much the standard size for case fans. The next most common one is going to be a 140. But these are 120s, which like I said is the standard. And when you're putting them on the radiator, this is called a 360 radiator because we can fit 3 120 millimeter fans on one side. Now we could obviously put fans on both sides, but that's a little less common.
Yes. We've done it on the show, though. And as far as the unique thing about this case, this is an MV7, it can actually have 12 fans on it. I mean, technically, you could do 15 if you did a push-pull on the radiator.
That is true, yeah. You can fit a lot of fans inside this one. This might be the most common one that we go above 10 on, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. And that also means what's going on inside is going to be very, very, it's going to be cooled very, very well. Mine handles things like Rainbow Six Siege on Ultra, and I'm popping at least 140 to 200 frames per second. and it never gets above anything crazy. But on that note, Paul, what are some good temperatures to keep in mind when you are playing your games and your system's running? When should you be concerned about the temperature of your CPU or your GPU?
So if you're gaming and you've been gaming for like at least 30 minutes or more, that's when your temperatures are probably going to reach their peak, and they shouldn't be getting above like high 80s into the 90s. These components get a lot hotter than they used to, so that can seem like a little scary with it being that high, but it's pretty common to see it while you're gaming be at 70 to 80. So I wouldn't be concerned unless it was more than that.
So, and for my system, they did a push-pull, so it's 3 fans in the front, 3 fans on the back, and I have never seen my CPU go up above like 60-ish.
Okay,
I think I might have hit a 70 at one point, but yeah, no, it stays so cool. One of the cool things you can see that Zach is working on is the base frame. Now, on the bottom of the case, there is a frame that you can use for mounting your fans. Are you working on the back or the base?
I am on the bottom, and Paul is on the backside.
Got it.
We're tag teaming.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! I want credit for not saying the jokes.
We're 1980s, man.
Oh yeah.
We're Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes, dude. Get somebody.
Paul's is bigger than mine.
Look at me being wholesome.
I got more girth.
Yeah, yours has a bigger base for sure, and all those cool attachments.
Yeah, I got pretty cool tips.
So, it's all about the tips. Just touch them.
No gravy.
So Paul, when it comes to blowing fan directions, which direction? What direction do you want to do for your radiator versus the rest of your system?
All right, so it depends on where your case is, but no matter what, with the fans on your radiator, you want them pushing air through. So we're going to have air coming into the fan side, pushing it through the radiator and out the case. I believe we're going to be mounting this in the top, most likely. Yeah, so, but that's the same rule even if we were putting it somewhere else. That's where we want, and then these are intake. Yeah, Zach's doing the intakes. These are also intakes. So we got a lot of intakes. These ones that we're installing right now will be bringing air from the outside into the case.
So it'll be 3 on the floor, 4 on the back, 3 on the roof, and then 2 on the exhaust. Because this case does have a dual exhaust, which is a rarity.
Yeah, have you ever seen another system that has a dual exhaust?
Oh, or the 1000D from
Corsair.
Corsair, yeah. But we only use that for open loops.
Okay, yeah.
Nicole said, "Wow," like they started it.
About to turn into the After Dark show.
And
where's my drill?
Well, I was just going to ask, can you use a low impact drill on that?
Oh yeah, especially for fan screws. Fan screws are the ones that I like using a drill on, because brand new fans, they don't have threads inside these fan holes. So you'll notice the threads, if you were holding one of these, they look a lot different than other screws up close, and that's because they actually bite into the fan.
Got it. Get it. TK Zoros asks, can you make a PC out of gold?
Yeah.
I mean, many parts could be gold, but I mean, there's still going to be some...
Send us the gold.
Some solder and... Yeah.
As long as the case has wheels built onto it...
Oh,
I don't have to pick it up. That's going to be
a heavy case.
And flip it? Because last I checked, like, a gold block like this big was kind of heavy.
Is it a heavy?
Yeah, it's a dense material.
I don't know. I've never...
And isn't it, like, electro...
Conductive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Magneto. It can control magnets.
What's ferrous? Isn't it
ferrous,
or is it non-ferrous? That's a metal description.
Oh, I thought that was porous. What's that mean?
No,
What is ferrous?
Does that mean...
Ferrous means there's iron in it, and it can be magnetized. I could very much be wrong on that too. By the way, the weight of a bar of gold is 27.4 pounds.
Lightweight.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming you would need more than one of those to make it. Like probably like what, 3 or 4?
Gilded inlay. It's just what is that called? Where they just like
Do the gold leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can put
Just
that on your
grab it.
hamburger and stuff. You seen that? I
yeah.
don't know what that's about.
I don't need to eat gold.
That's a flex. You ever drink Goldschlager back in the day?
Gosh.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah.
Get a little bit of that. A little bit of hypnotic.
Oh yeah. We go
Okay.
back.
Here we go. I think I had it correct. I did have it correct. Yay. The primary difference between ferrous and non-ferrous metals lies in their iron content. Ferrous metals contain iron, while non-ferrous metals do not. Ferrous metals are generally magnetic and prone to rust, while non-ferrous metals are typically non-magnetic and more resistant to rust and corrosion. What's up, Hofika?
Hello.
I know so much information happens on this show. It's not, half of it's unintentional.
Send this back over there.
Yeah, I'm just taking my time over here, Zach. You know.
That's fine. We are all good.
Now, this case also has something unique about it because that back, it is so tall, you can actually fit 4 fans on the back to bring in fresh air. And we'll show you why that's important here once we get the case up.
That's this piece I'm holding on right now.
Oh yeah. Ding. This is as
We talked about fan directions, right?
Yes, and we do want
Okay, good.
to put this in first. That's why we're waiting on me to finish up these 4 fans, because this can be kind of hard to install in the case once you get everything else in.
Do you install NV5 case, secondary storage, 4 terabyte, Western Digital? Question about where a hard drive goes in NV5?
I missed that. Yes.
Okay.
Well, do you have to?
So on the back of an NV5, you will slide the back panel off, and then there's going to be a door that can open and close, that can swing. It doesn't cover cables, it just like covers the back of the motherboard. And there should be like 3 positions for SSDs or HDDs to go there.
Nice. Now we get this big bad boy up. And actually, you can
probably
point out
get
right there. Just point out that little, Jack, where the case hard drive goes.
For the NV7, it'll be down here, but for the NV5, there's going to be a door panel right there.
Yep. All right. So now he's installing the framed fans, and I want to point something out. Notice how from this view you can see that the case sits the bottom of the case sits at an angle. So it's higher in the back, lower in the front. That does give an increased amount of air that it can pull in. But the fun thing is the fans are also angled. So while the bottom fans are going to be pushing air up, it's going to be bouncing off of the glass, creating rotation, which is going to help with the graphics card. And the 2 exhausts are going to help with pulling it all out, along with the 3 up on top for the radiator. Yeah, now you can see it. The way that angle sits is actually kind of brilliant. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. So we will essentially have 4 fans plus 3 fans, so a total of 7 fans bringing air in, and we will have a total of 5. That's 2 on the back, 3 up top for the radiator, 5 blowing air out and exhausting it. So that creates a thing called a positive pressure element. We want to talk about the little standoffs first, though?
Yeah, we might as well. This is a pretty good shot of those standoffs. So you can see those are these silver heads right here. That's what our motherboard is going to be sitting on. The reason those are here is because we don't want our motherboard sitting on the bare chassis. That can cause it to short out and cause a whole bunch of issues. So you definitely want to make sure you've got them all in the right spots. If you're missing one, it's okay, but having an extra one could be fatal.
Yep. Now, how do you know where the standoffs are on the motherboard?
So
Is there a way to identify those
somewhat
specific
of a standard.
holes?
for your motherboard size. This is an ATX motherboard, so we're always going to have 3, 3, and 3, so a total of 9. Now this ASRock board, sometimes it has an extra standoff right here where my finger is. Not all ATX motherboards have this, so that is the one you want to check. Also, on the standoffs printed on the case, most cases will have it will say ATX or MATX or ITX to match up the form factors.
There we go. And once you get it mounted down, then you are good to go and start with everything else. Zach is fast with this, so it doesn't take too long.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do install video or pictures slide on NV5 on the top? I'm not quite sure.
The top panel slides off instead of popping
Can you install a video or picture slideshow on it somehow? I mean, I would imagine so, but I would have no idea how to do that. You guys can figure it out, though.
And last one.
Well,
yeah, if you want like a screen inside there are small screens you can get that you can mount inside the case if that's what you're referring to.
Temperance mentions, why does this mobile look dirty? Well, it's got some really nice gray accents, but it's a primarily white board. I dig it.
The white is not as white as the frame of the chassis, so that's probably what you're noticing.
Oh,
but
that's
there are
why.
There are like gray designs printed on that PCB. So
Yeah. And when he's getting that screwed in,
I don't know what that is. Off-white.
Eggshell.
Eggshell. Yeah, that's the
eggshell.
color.
Good lord. Real quick, since we've got it open, why don't you show everybody where the filter goes on the bottom?
This will slide out the back. It's super easy to change.
And how often do you need to be checking your filters?
Probably about every 6 months to a year. This won't build up too much, but super easy to just pull out and wipe off, and you'll be good to go.
Yes. Okay. Anybody got questions in the chat that you have a burning desire to get an answer for? We can help. And now we've only got the 2 exhaust fans left. Fantastic. And then we can get on to some other components. Do you do every build on stream? Says you ain't nice. Hi, first of all, welcome to the channel. So glad to have you here. We on Tuesdays we build PCs that are customer orders, generally always, most of the time. And then and that's just with us here on Twitch, Stick, and YouTube. And then we do it exclusively on Thursdays on TikTok. So lots of different places and opportunities. This is specifically for Hayden in Ohio.
We do not do all of our builds on stream. We would have too many. We'd be streaming all day. Maybe one day.
One thing I do want to point out is notice how the I/O shield for the motherboard doesn't sit flush against the back of the case. This is what we call like a 3/5 or a 3/4 build because of that. Paul, why is that the term?
That's because the motherboard sits about 3/4 of the way down, and the reason for that is just the overall design of the case. So that gives us a clean look, kind of this fish tank design. The NV7 is a little bit different than that, but with a glass side and a glass front, and then it gives us room in the back for the extra components. So this power supply right here, any extra hard disk drives like Zach's got installed in the store, this goes in the back, and then it leaves us a lot of room for cable management as well.
Gavin Madden on YouTube, by the way, mentions that it says mine's coming up soon. Yes, there should be emails. Actually, you know what? Paul, you can answer that.
What was the question? Does the date question?
I'm going to figure that they're asking about getting their build on the show.
Oh yeah. So if we haven't built it already, it sounds like you ain't nice. You said you purchased it a week ago. If it hasn't been built yet, we might be able to do it on Thursday. We just don't want to delay your order at all. So if you want to just hop in our Discord, discord.gg/clxgaming, if you can send me a personal message, I'm either Paul Steffens in there or P Steff, with your order number, I can look it up after the show and we can see where it's at. And if we've got room in the show on Thursday, we will do it then.
Nice. Make sure to drop
We
that
did
in
that
both
with
of
a,
the channels.
Yeah, we did that with the customer last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think we
Yeah,
had them in
it's
here on the
super fun.
Thursday show. We always love building the PC with the customer in chat. That's the experience we really want. So
Oh, yeah.
we'd love to do it.
Yeah. We've even had people ask the boys to sign it. So,
Yep, we've
You know.
we've got our signatures on a couple systems.
okay. Now,
Shoot,
we're
man, I
working
just
on the
signed
back
for
of the...
those Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, there are some.
What?
Yeah, there are some Easter eggs inside some of those customer systems that
Yeah.
they might not find out about for a long time.
Yeah.
ones.
Zach was here.
That's
Built-
actually hilarious.
Built by me. Zachary.
I did this. Temperance says, I still want the cursed Halloween system.
Those ones are
let's
sick.
see, piece-
That was probably our most popular print design. Was that Halloween design we
Oracle?
had last year?
Yeah. But man, did everything go haywire.
Yeah, it was haunting the studio
Which-
for a bit. That was not cool, but
Now, it's just weird stuff happened after that was introduced. So up top, you see that there's like the motherboard isn't actually sitting up against the top of the system. It's actually got this housing up there above there, and that is going to be for the power supply. So, Paul, why would you separate your power supply from everything else?
I think mainly it's just to give a better, cleaner look inside the system that you can see, but there is some functionality to it. The power supply is going to get its own air in from the back of the case over here, and then it's going to shoot it out the rear so none of that heat comes into the main body of the case.
Nice. And there's another cool little feature, and that is the little LED strip on there that's going to be, once it gets turned on, you're going to love it.
Yeah, it's got some
one of the
LED running
features that
lights
I-
up top and then run down the side.
One of the things I like about the way this is the grommets, the white grommets, so they kind of just blend into the back, and it creates a nice way of I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Sealing it up from the back. Good Lord. Oh, A9 says, thank you. I messaged him, but I don't know if it went through because it says friends only. Paul.
Let me see. I got you up right now. Let's see here. I don't have one.
I don't think they're able to because I think you have.
I only talk
You
to
have-
my real
you have to be a
friends,
friend.
okay? No, I don't know.
Rude.
What's your name in Discord? You ain't nice. I'll find you in there and send you a message. Or if you just want to post something in the general chat,
Yeah,
I'll
It's also
send
an
you
easy
one
way.
on there.
that should include me.
Of course.
So
turn
a friend of mine was out. Oh,
Go ahead, DJ. Sorry.
oh no. First of all, you're welcome, Arizona 2024. A friend of mine was over to there were horses at this whatever the getaway they were at, and he and his wife stood by the horse, and the horse loved her. The horse nipped and chased my friend Todd all the way around the yard. And the video is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Some people say he wanted to play. I just say Todd smelled funny.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
go for the power.
As we're going, we want to go cover the power next.
Yeah.
One thing to point out that Zach's doing is getting the case fans, the case cables ready first. What's the process for doing that?
So I look at each computer having 3 groups of cables. You're going to have your case cables, which is going to be your front panel, your USB headers, all of your HD audios, and all the fun stuff like that. Then another group of cables is your fan cables. That's what I'm currently pulling all the way to the back right now. And I'm going to leave these for the last. I know that'll be a little bit of a nightmare, but if we look right here, this is where our power supply sits up top here. And as you can see, we do have a plethora of fan cables coming through there. So if I was to just go ahead and tie those up right now, our power supply might be sitting where I have stuff tied up, and I might have to redo my tie-up. So I'm just going to do the power first. This is a 1,000 watt, so it's on the normal side compared to a 1200, which is a little bit more of an elongated power supply.
And as far as the GPU, Arizona 2024, that is going to be an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070. We'll be getting to that. A 5070 Ti, actually. And you ain't nice posted in general there, Paul.
Alrighty.
And one of the cool things about this, and I'll let Paul explain it, is because the power supply it's a Thermaltake. First of all, I love Thermaltake stuff. It is 1,050 watt, 80 plus gold, fully modular. What does it mean, fully modular, and can you explain the 3 different types of power supplies?
So fully modular means it comes out of the box with no cables pre-soldered in. You can see it right here. Whoop, there we go. So we can go through our cables and we'll pick out the ones that we need. That we will definitely have some extras that we'll send along in the accessory bag, so if the customer ever needs them, they can use that. There are non-modular power supplies where all the cables are pre-soldered in. And then you just bundle up the ones you don't use and tuck them inside the case. And then you've got semi-modular, which is a mix of both, where there's like a few cables that are pre-soldered in, like your 24-pin CPU power and usually a VGA cable, and then the rest are all modular.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay.
5 SATAs in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3 into the 4. Oh.
All right, you ain't nice. I sent you a message on Discord. Hopefully we can DM now. I don't know. I don't mess with Discord too much on my phone. So hopefully it'll let you message back. Okay. SATA, Zach, you said 5?
I'll need 5 in total.
5 in total. No Molex connectors needed
Molex
for this build.
And
Yay.
what does that mean?
Molex is an older style cable. It's this one. It's gross. Don't use it if you can avoid it. The pins like to fall out all the time. Not fun. Garbage.
Oh no. That's see, that could be problematic.
I would love for it to be gone.
Very problematic.
But we still use the floppy cable for powering some components sometimes. So I think Molex is going to be around past. Molex is going to outlive us, Zach.
As long as the military is still around, the Molex will never die. They got those old old hard drives in their military bases, and boy, okay, if we change, we're doomed.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, now we've got those out. One thing I really do like about the cables that this comes with is that they're like a flat band.
I don't know what I would call these. Like they're, I don't know what. Because they're not like braided. These are the braided out of the braiding. These are nice cables, is basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
They're flat, they can stack on top of each other nice, and it's nice that they match the color of the power supply in the case. So
accurate. And then you get a bag full of extra cables that'll come with it, and just in case you want to add stuff to your builder.
There we go. I will just make my OCD be perfect.
Okay. We'll let him get his cable management rolling through. You're going to love it when you see it. Do you have any advice on how to stage your build when it comes to cable management?
So it will vary case on case. You'll see me sometimes plug all of these cables into my power supply. Sometimes you'll see me screw the power supply down first. So it really just kind of varies from build to build. Just kind of whatever you're comfortable with. That's what you always want to be doing, is always be working comfortably. So, what I like to do is you'll see Paul and me kind of stretching the cables out. That's smoothing the cables out, adding friction to the copper inside the line, just to help straighten it out. Adds a lot compared to like working with a nice little bend in it. And then you're like, okay, well, that's not where that bend needs to go for it to fit. So you just don't need to have the bend in there to begin with.
Yeah, it can take just a few pulls and you can get most of those bends out. Makes it a lot easier to work with. If you go too fast, you will burn your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The friction, baby. That's how it works.
Let's do those behind that.
That is so many cords.
There's a lot in this, especially with it being 12 fans. We have just 12 fan cables on top of everything else. So
Yeah.
there's a lot in these NV7s.
Agreed. Much of it. And we got to get the cables in there before we add the secondary storage, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So while he's getting the cables run around, let's talk about hard drives because obviously we've got a secondary storage going into this thing. It is an 8 terabyte Seagate 5400 RPM hard disk drive. And obviously that, first of all, 8 terabytes. What? That's madness. But it's 4500 RPM. What does that refer to, and how is this different than the M.2?
So that refers to how fast the platters inside of your spin. If you're not familiar with how a hard drive works, there's platters in there. They kind of look like CDs. They're like small versions of those, and there'll be a stack of them, and then an arm that's got heads, and the heads can go in between the stacks, and the platters spin, and the head reads the data, and that's how this whole thing works. So the faster your hard drive is, as far as like RPM, the better it's going to perform. Typically, when you get to these high storage ones, like 8 terabytes, sometimes 6 terabyte and up, typically they're going to be 5400 RPMs, whereas like a 1 terabyte is usually 7200. But back in the day, you could get like a 12K RPM Velociraptor from Western Digital, and that was like a SICK drive. But all of them pale in comparison to an SSD. So.
Arizona 2024 asks, do you do custom paint for NV5 cases? Oh, let me tell you.
We do have custom prints for NV5, and if you want to check those out, you can go to our website, clxgaming.com, and when you pick your case, you can see all the different print designs. We've got a whole bunch of them right now, and we're always coming out with new ones. We typically do some seasonal ones as well, like our Halloween one was referred to earlier in the show. That one's pretty cool. I'm sure we'll have another sweet design, or we might even just bring it back.
I would say bring it back. I definitely want to get one for my stream PC.
Yeah, it was our most popular print, I believe.
Yeah, it really was. So that people just went ham on that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at what was it, Atlanta? It was sitting out there. The number one PC looked at. Everybody just kind of went, "Wait, what? What is on this?" It's kind of perfect. All right, now you've got the. So what's that little door you just closed?
So this is a cable management panel and a storage panel. Inside here we have our CPU cables going to our CPU and our blowout from our 24 pin, so that we don't have to all that extra cable in there. And then over on this section we can have a SSD on either side of this tray here.
Nice, awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, now let's do.
What's next?
We need to get that's all plugged in. Okay, let's do the fans.
The fans?
Fans.
Fans. All right.
While you're putting on those fans, I'm going to start getting this video card out of the box.
So this is a gigabyte. First of all, we all love ourselves some gigabyte. It's an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti. It's actually got 16 gigs of VRAM in it. And so, Paul, what's the difference between a regular and a Ti?
So the Ti is obviously going to perform better than a regular 5070. Now, I think of them as two completely different models. Just treat them as two different cards because, you know, there's such a big performance. difference there, but it's obviously the step between a 5070 and a 5080. Really solid card here. I don't think I've ever opened up one of these white eagles here. We should call this the bald eagle. That's what we should call this card. Yeah, they've had the eagle heat spreader around for a while. Typically it was like a gray and blue, kind of light blue color scheme. Looks like this, they went with white and a light blue, so looks nice.
Awesome.
Gigabyte's always got this yellow tape. It's like a caution tape.
I was just like, what's it going to do, bite me? Please don't shake the card, but we're going to tape the hell out of it.
Yeah. Boom.
Okay, look at that. That's gorgeous. The 3 fans. I dig it.
3-fan model. Got our 12-volt high power connector for power there. Nice
and it's a 2-slotter.
Similar backplate. Yep, 2-slotter card.
Ooh. Wait, is that on the front? Is the power right there?
All right, yeah.
That is perfect. It's got its own little notch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what? Its own little cutout there.
Okay. AZ asks, do you have a lifetime warranty if I order a custom paint?
So we do lifetime warranty, lifetime tech support and labor on all of our systems, and you get a 1-year warranty on parts and labor. If your paint starts to peel or anything like that within there, let us know. Even if it's a little outside of there, let us know.
And you can get up to 3 years coverage. Mm-hmm. Your choice. Oh gosh, this is looking great. Looking fantastico. What are some good things and practices when you are first taking your graphics card out of the box?
Get all the plastic peels off there, and then give it to Zach so he can find all the plastic peels that you missed. That's the best practice. Zach always catches the small ones that I forgot or didn't see. This one was pretty straightforward.
Let's see
though.
here.
It wasn't too much. It's just 3 on the fans that are a pain, but I got them all off.
Smith Boy Poppins asks, I'm building a PC. What would give me a more FPS in Fortnite with a Ryzen 7 5700 3D, an RTX 4060, or a 3070 in performance mode all low?
Ooh, that's a good question. So that's going to be pretty close to comparison. The 3070 might beat it for now, but I would still go with that 4060 because both those cards are going to provide you with a really good frame rate for Fortnite. So it's not like one's going to be like 40 FPS and the other's going to be 150 or something like that. So I would go with the 4060 because it's newer and it's going to last longer than that 3070 as time goes on and those cards get older. They don't work as well with the new games that come out. So as more time goes on, that 4060 is going to perform better than that 3070 or the 4060 Ti.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. But they are close in comparison.
I believe Zach is working currently on the hooking up all the fans.
Oh, yeah.
So can you do that all in one controller?
This will be across 2 hubs. We are using the 8-fan Game DS hubs.
These Game
so
DS
we'll
hubs,
need 2 different hubs.
Yeah, you can have. We've got 2 models of them now. We had the 8s, and now we've got the 10s. But since it says 12, we're just going to use 2 8s. And you can chain those boxes together. So we'll have 8 in one and 4 on the other because they have to go in sequential order for them to all work, and they'll be powered with the exact same remote. So one remote to power them all.
Jimmy O has a great question. It says, what's the difference between gold, platinum, and titanium as far as PSU goes?
Great question, Jimmy. So the difference there, what the 80 plus rating is the efficiency rating of the power supply. So the difference between gold, platinum, and titanium is going to be how efficient that power supply is. So just to get an 80 plus rating, the white label, the power supply has to be 80% efficient at 3 different loads, typically 20%, 50%, and 100%, I think. And then as you go up the chain, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, titanium, that 80% increases, 82, 84, whatever it may be. So the difference between gold and platinum and titanium is going to be a few percentages of efficiency, meaning how much power the PC is taking out the wall and how much it's using. So that will directly relate to the energy bill cost of running your PC. Now there isn't going to be a huge difference from gold and platinum on like a gaming PC. I mean, we're talking cents, maybe $1 or $2 on your like monthly energy bill, so not really a big deal. But that does come into play if you're doing like cryptocurrency mining and you're really using a lot of power. That's when you'd want a very efficient power supply.
Jumping back over to Smith Boy, what asks what gives more FPS though? I'm assuming you're talking about components.
Yeah, so
that...
more FPS. I mean, if you put it at 1080, they're both going to be like crazy high on the 4060 and 3070. It's when you get up to 2K, 4K that you probably notice the difference. Right now,
2K games.
I would still go with 40. The 3070 might get you higher frames in like 2K and 4K, but they're going to be really close. I would still go with the 4060. Your frame rate you're not going to have to worry about with that processor and either of those video cards.
Big go. Nice. Okay. And we're looking good. We've got a few things to still plug in. We've got our graphics card and our secondary hard drive.
Oh yeah.
10 terabytes on the system. 10, that's wild.
It's a lot of storage.
Right?
A lot of Steam video games.
It's a big library of games you'll never play.
Hey man, but at least they're all downloaded.
True. You can play them when you want.
Well, you'll probably have a couple updates
God,
to download first.
True.
It's like turning on a PlayStation to play Call of Duty. You're like, oh no.
We'll play tomorrow.
Yeah, that's literally what my roommate and I would do. Be like, well, I guess we are not playing today because we have a 2-hour update.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Well, at least with an 8 terabyte drive,
our
friend Hayden in Ohio will be able to install all of the war zones for Call of Duty.
True.
That's how many free YouTube albums on iTunes you can have downloaded?
So many.
They just gave that away.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys can hear it. My dog is losing his mind upstairs.
Oh no.
Okay, DJ.
Hello,
I saw the YouTube.
Hashim.
I saw the YouTube video, and I really wanted to talk to you about it.
Okay.
Because I guess there was a audiophile con. Have you heard of speakers that are acoustic speakers? Or no, sorry, not acoustic. Acapella speakers.
The ones that are just for making voice?
Just for voice.
Acapella speakers.
Acapella speakers.
Never heard of
It
this.
was weird.
We're looking it up.
They look super cool, and they were playing some Johnny Cash. I was like, oh, this is...
Like it's just the voice,
just
there's no
the voice,
instruments?
no
like
instruments. But like the setup to power everything was insane. But
In the membrane?
Yeah.
It's
oh,
in
yeah. Okay, that's that.
Them audio files.
Yeah. But they're like these big old white speakers with copper.
These acapella TW1S ion tweeters are $7,000.
That's kind of what I'm hearing. The system was very nice because it sounded really good.
Two words from my blood.
And I was just listening off the speakers of my phone, so I was getting lost in translation there.
I like Hashim's analogy there.
Escargot.
That's a good one.
They hold their pinky out. When in doubt, pinkies are out.
This is my escargot fork.
Let's see here. Jimmy mentions just rocking MTX speakers at home. And Hashim and his acapella speakers is like having a special fork to eat escargot, you fancy people. It's for fancy people.
You ever had escargot?
I don't even know what that is.
It's good. Snails.
That is snails.
It's good. It comes in this ditch, and there's like little hollow things. It's filled with butter. It's really good.
So they're cooked?
Yep. I'll show you.
Sometimes.
Sometimes? I don't
Okay.
need a...
Definitely.
They're
I don't
tasty.
need a snail just
See, look,
swirling around.
sometimes
in
they'll
my...
put cheese all over them. Like, look at
Where are you in, like... Oh,
See
God.
this right here?
Ugh.
That's like a typical one. You scoop it out, and this is like little pools of butter in there. They're really good. It is weird, but they're good.
And
I
you eat
promise.
this in Kansas.
Yeah, well, no, I have.
Okay.
I would not eat it.
okay, there we go.
There is a restaurant here that does. They call it shrimp cargo, and it's like this, but it's shrimp in there, and it's good. But no, I've only
I
had
don't
this
know.
like when I was
Kansas
on
is pretty
vacation.
far away from any salt water.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't care that the Gulf of Mexico
Dude,
is
I got
right
snails
there.
in my
like,
backyard, man. We can eat them fresh.
Is that like what they are? Or are they just like? Is it like a special like breed of snail?
I don't
that's,
know.
like-
I don't. I'm sure it's it's probably like a saltwater or something more. It seems more of like a coastal thing, and a good old Midwest garden snail. But I don't know. We actually have a lot of snails at our house. I've never had that living here, but there will be like, I mean, just like hundreds of them.
Snail
like my
parade.
kids will just bring like buckets of them inside.
Nice. Nice.
The dog will eat them.
Yep.
And just crunch them
Oh.
up.
Yeah, your dog's an escargot fan.
yeah. Dog's an aficionado.
Way to go. You made a pretentious dog.
That dog's real bougie.
It's like, where's the butter at, Dad?
It barks with an accent.
I'm more of a fan of like clams or oysters.
Clams are yummy.
What's the octopus tentacles?
Calamari.
Yeah.
I think that's squid.
Yeah.
Not to be actually.
You know,
But-
I don't know what it is. Just
I think octopus is just octopus. I don't think it's got a
Okay.
fancy name.
okay. Yeah, I've had that.
I've had I had octopus sushi at like Nobu in Vegas.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so good.
Have you ever
It was
had
crazy.
gator?
No, I haven't had gator, but I want to.
I worked with a Cajun man, and he would bring in gator all the time. And I was like, Benoit, why don't you bring me in a gator? And then he's like, I'll bring it to you next time. I was like, that's fine. I don't need any alligator.
Yeah.
I wasn't serious. I was just,
Shaves over here.
I heard
Oh,
gators
poor
good.
Squidward.
Yeah.
Jim says, I'm old school. I love calamari, shrimp, squid, shrimp, prawns. Always wanted to try crayfish. Crayfish is like just a smaller, more manageable lobster.
Shit, like, what do you do? Pinch the tail?
It doesn't
Suck
sound
the
like
heads
it's
or
deep
something.
fat
It's-
fried catfish, so not up my alley.
I'm
Get
sorry.
down with some catfish.
Oh,
I just don't like cleaning them.
I thought you said something else.
Whenever we clean the catfish, like I don't know, this might be kind of gross for
Stinky.
anybody in chat, but we had them separated.
Yep.
Right? The head was all separated and it
Yep.
was still like barking.
moving.
I'm just like, what? I don't like this.
Well, then you get to reenact The Rock and play the favorite role of Sean Connery.
What is that?
What do you want me to do? Kill him again?
Sean Connery was amazing.
Oh, yes.
The Let It
film.
Snow thing on SNL. Oh,
Album cover.
man.
Man, the weekend update on SNL, I love it. I watch it every Sunday. What happened last night? Okay, there we go. As far as catfish goes, I love me some catfish.
Yes, good eat.
Oh, out of water. I know I'm out of water.
Uh-oh.
Great.
Time to Bear Grylls it.
Here we go. All right. Now,
Adapt, overcome,
when you're
survive.
holding that card, how does this feel in your hands from a weight standpoint?
This is not super heavy. We'll probably use the anti-sag bracket that comes in the case just because we have it, but I wouldn't say it's required in this. It probably looks heavier than what it is. It's a triple fan, obviously, 2-slot. Not too bad, but we might as well use an anti-sag bracket since we've got it.
Nice. Awesome sauce. How's that cable management back there, bud?
You mean that cable management? That doesn't.
If you're not impressed, I don't know what will impress you. That's fantastic. Looks good.
This is the Gigabyte Eagle 5070 Ti, Hashim.
Yes. Okay. So you always want to remove how many of the little slot covers?
Just depends on the card. Since this is a 2-slotter, we're removing 2 of those.
On the bottom.
Always got to check your connection. Make sure you know what you're plugging in. It could be
Plug it in,
a little
plug it in.
6-pin.
Ooh.
Or it could be a 12V 2x6 cable.
Oh. Oh no.
Shunk.
Let's see. Hashim says, heard there was going to be a 5080 Ti with 24 gigs. Don't know how far that is true, or how much of that is true.
We shall
Anybody?
see. When we have them, we will get them on the show.
Yep. We love when people order new stuff. Okay. Now we just need to loop our cable through, to the board, and then nail it. I love how this case looks. I just do. How many video cards install on NV5? Only one.
Ruh-roh, Shaggy.
Huh. Oh no, what happened?
Just getting it flexed.
There we go. There we go. There it is.
Sits good. It goes on the bottom.
Squeeze it.
That
Push
looks
it.
nice.
Okay.
Pop it.
Right? And then this is where it's going to get really fun, people. That little element that he just put on lights up. And if you've never seen an NV5 or NV7 lit up, this is going to be a fun show for you. All right.
I don't like how that one's connected.
How are we doing? How are we feeling?
2 seconds.
Doing good.
Huh?
Once this light bar's in, we'll be putting the panels on, and then we'll be good to go.
Nice. Well, in that case, while you guys are finishing up, I want to take everybody on a quick adventure, and our adventure is going to take us to a place where you can get a PC like this all on your own, and it's clxgaming.com. At clxgaming.com, we'll try and make it as easy and simple as possible while also being comprehensive understanding of how to get a PC that you need or desire. You want a small one? We got that. You want a big one? Obviously, for today's show, we've got those too. And everything in between. The one-stop shopping center. If you want Intel, we have Intel. Obviously, we've got AMD, Radeon, NVIDIA, and ARC, and the Intel ARC cards. Plus, we've got a little bit of everything else. You need extra drives? Great. And you don't have to worry about screwing it up, because the minute you choose 2 things that aren't compatible, that little button was green, turns yellow. So in this example, the power supply isn't big enough to handle the graphics card. So it's going to give you the option of, okay, either you're going to sir, my brain is on backwards today. You want to use this graphics card, you're going to have to choose from one of these power supplies, or vice versa. And once you make the selection, you got it all back to normal. That little yellow button turns green. Wi-Fi? I mean, I have Wi-Fi. So, and as you can see down here, we have a lot of different ways for you to adjust your build. If you want to overclock your CPU or your GPU, you want to upgrade your thermal paste, we can do all of those things. Braided cables, cable mod kits, all sorts of fun little things. Now, the next part is the fun part, and that's the accessories page, which is rad. So the accessories page, first up, is you're going to get a chance to pick up some CLX merch if you want to include it. Everything from t-shirts to hats to windbreakers. We got pretty much everything. And then, like I mentioned, one-stop shopping center. We got keyboards, mice, controllers, headsets, microphones. We got a Beacon Mix Create mic, a Beacon Mix Create, and like those for content creators and streamers, that's really good. Got capture cards by Elgato, speakers in case you need speakers, a monitor, a video screen. We also even have routers and a chair. So, with that being said, that can seem like it's a lot to process. So that's what we have another section called Ready to Ship, or RTS as we like to call it. The Ready to Ship section starts at entry level and goes all the way up to ultra high performance, and it's fantastic. That question, so I have to drop them? Yes. So, as you can see, there's all sorts of different builds here that are of different styles, different varieties, different flavors. So you can kind of get an idea of where you're going to be at for spending wise, and there you go. So for all your future PC needs, head on over to clxgaming.com. See what we can do for you. Just started getting what? You're getting over what? Cosworth, welcome in. And definitely says, get some sleep, dude. What I need is contacts. This looks great. Oh my gosh. I'm excited because of everything's going to light up. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what it does. What?
Oh, yeah.
That's insane. That is absolutely wild. AZ wants to know if we have extra lights for cases. We do.
We do.
Mm-hmm. All right. So once again, this is for our friend in Hayden in Ohio. Now, Paul, where is this PC going to go from here?
So from here, it goes to our testing department, and the first thing we do there is we'll get into the BIOS of the machine. We'll make sure our RAM speed is set correctly, all of our storage devices are showing up, and then we'll actually load the system with the operating system. If you picked any games on our website, that's where we would load those, but if you didn't pick any of those, you just get a fresh install of your OS. We do not put any bloatware or any extra software on these machines. You just get a fresh, clean install of Windows. Then once we've got it all loaded, we stress test the system for 12 hours to make sure everything's stable, and then we ship it out to you.
Nice. All right. Now, in just a few minutes, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, you're going to spend the afternoon with Zach as he continues to build more PCs. So, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 Eastern. We are here on Twitch and YouTube. Wow. On Tuesdays, on Thursdays, we're exclusively on TikTok. You don't want to miss it. If you want to find out what's going on, the latest and greatest with everything with CLX, head on over to our socials. That is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and obviously TikTok at CLX Gaming. And yeah, you can also hit our Discord, discord.gg/CLX Gaming. So there you go. So with that being said, on behalf of Kyle and Jason in production, and of course, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We have more coming up in just a few moments. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Arrivederci.